How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be featuring the Michelangelo, the Tier 8 Premium Italian Large Cruiser. I think we all know how much I enjoy AI gaming, and in this one, it's more AI gaming as we're using D-Revel, but I have actually opted to use Properly Meticulous instead of using Master Mechanic. Obviously, Master Mechanic is pretty useful, giving us 2 more heals, but also increasing our survivability by giving us more heals. But then again, using Properly Meticulous gives us quite a bit more DPM for our secondaries, as well as a longer funny button. So ultimately, we're just making our funny button even better. Kind of wish Properly Meticulous was a third row skill on most battleship commanders. I think I'm pretty sure only one, and that's one of the commanders from the pirate ship event thing that gave you the La Foudre, basically the sailing robin sounding guy. But yeah, unfortunately, I think that's the only one. Properly Meticulous, if a third row skill, could be pretty useful, especially on a lot of secondary ships, German, Massachusetts, Ohio, and I honestly think would resolve the issues with Massachusetts secondaries being so poorly power crept, or not poorly, but badly power crept by a lot of the other tier 7 secondary ships that have been added. But I mean, we can always hope. I mean, I think that's the easiest solution for a lot of that stuff, but it is what it is. We're just making use of it as a fourth row skill. And yeah, kind of just charging in here. Uh, Enemy Minotaur spotted charging it down the flank. We use one of our funny buttons mainly because, well, if I don't dev strike this Minotaur, especially because we don't have aiming systems, I am hoping that our secondaries can pick up the slack. We absolutely smash the Minotaur, and our secondaries are doing a good amount of chunk damage, but obviously not quite enough. He turns away very slightly, and then our secondaries just start missing, which is kind of unfortunate. Luckily, our guns reload in time and we actually get off another salvo and do just enough damage to actually finish him off. I was a little worried about that Michelangelo that was in the middle because the last thing I wanted to do was keep pushing, and then Michelangelo beached, especially since he's not actually in the cap, and then he just reverses, and then all of a sudden I get smashed for all of my HP, as Michelangelo can be citadeled rather easily, at least compared to Napoli. I feel like Michelangelo is a lot more squishy for what it is, and just isn't really saved like Napoli is. But now we're running down this Alaska. As soon as our secondary started shooting, he just decided to turn around and start running away. Ideally, I probably should have kept pushing towards him to I guess keep him in secondary range, but then again, I was also looking to try and capture this objective, and then I guess give our team a slightly better chance of winning by not having to worry about the point differential if our team just so happened to start losing on the other side. B cap finally starts getting captured, so we know the Michelangelo has finally gotten into B, and we don't really have to worry about being crossfired, at least not yet. We're so close to capping. Alaska shoots his rear turret. Shells were about to hit us, but actually lands. I don't know if we consider that short or just simply missed, and we actually get away with capturing this objective. Ideally, he probably would have reset me, and we wouldn't have had the objective captured, but now that we do, we can finally leave and start pushing back towards the Alaska in order to get him back into secondary range. I think Alaska makes a mistake here, trying to stay at an angle where his front guns can actually turn and get to the other side. But in doing so, we actually close the distance enough that we get into secondary range again, and we use our funny button to help us finish him off much quicker. And yep, there is our close quarters. Michelangelo in B like we assumed, but luckily, because we were unspotted for so long, I assumed he probably was looking over towards C, especially because our team had also pushed in pretty aggressively, and well, where Michelangelo is a pretty good crossfire, but luckily we didn't have to worry about it. I also forgot to mention this is a incomplete match. I'm pretty sure it's not cross playoff. I think there's just not enough players at this point. I think it might have been ranked or brawl. I don't remember what side mode was currently happening, but we had a incomplete match for not a cross playoff, which is kind of unfortunate. But having less ships, we were able to push in very aggressively, and well, you saw what happened to their cruisers. Aside from Minotaur, Alaska got absolutely ruined. Enemy Tulsa, sailing flat broadside, decent looking dispersion. Unfortunately, we don't actually finish him off, but we're just going to keep sailing in because, well, we can get into a spot where we can brawl the enemy Michelangelo. And we also have our exhaust smoke coming off a cooldown very soon, so that could potentially give us an edge and I guess help us get a juicy broadside, perhaps something that otherwise we would not have been able to get. Another salvo that looked pretty good for Tulsa, unfortunately also does not finish him off, and we leave him on a sliver of HP. Unfortunately, secondary mod only buffs your secondaries, unlike main battery reload, so we didn't get the little additional damage that could have possibly gotten us the kill and put us at 3 and maybe have given us a better opportunity to get a Kraken. But it is what it is. We're about to come around this corner for Michelangelo, and like I was saying earlier, Michelangelo is pretty easily citadeled, especially by other Michelangelos, as we do get a couple citadels there and a decent chunk out of his HP. We're just charging in again. I mean, why not? Might as well. Secondaries, I decide to not use the funny button right now because I think we're a little too close. If I were to use it, accuracy would be, I'm doing air quotations right now, too good, and the shells would actually be landing for the citadel and essentially doing no damage because we're just shattering on the main belt. So I decide not to use the funny button, and I just hoped that our I guess bad accuracy secondaries hit him in the superstructure. I use the funny button now. I don't know why, even though I just said why I shouldn't. I did end up using it. But then again, there's one ship left, and we still have one more funny button, so I guess it's not the end of the world. I guess if the Michelangelo did try to bow in, and I guess didn't get spotted again and beach, perhaps our secondaries maybe could have did damage to the bow, just because of the improved pen angles that SAP has. But yeah, maybe we'll go with that. We'll just say that I assumed he was turning bow in and our funny button was going to deal damage, especially because he was technically in smoke and we weren't zoomed in to actually see him. And yeah, that's my excuse or reason. E is for effort, not excuses, as some would say. But yeah, anyway, we're getting our second objective. There's just a Michelangelo that's been sort of kiting on the border. And, well, there's still quite a bit of time, so we might as well go after him. But this full secondary build on Michelangelo, utilizing 4th mod, Porcupine, pretty sure Hipper and Haruna as inspirations. And then, I don't know, did I say properly meticulous? I think I did. But properly meticulous just makes your secondary DPM pretty ridiculous. Part of me wishes we did have a, I guess, cruiser commander or other commander that had Porcupine and not just the one Italian commander. If there was more, then maybe we would have had a little more wiggle room to do secondary builds, especially with cruisers, and not have wasted our base trait because it's specifically for battleships. But in the end, it's still a pretty good commander to AI funny button, and there's really only one ship that we can realistically build for SAP secondary AI gaming, at least for cruisers anyway. The battleships, I mean, you technically can, but something like Colombo, I mean, you're way better off just simply, I said it was a Michelangelo. It's a Carl, not Michelangelo, but yeah, you're just better off building for main guns. We use our last funny button and our last exhaust smoke, hoping our SAP secondaries are hitting his deck rather than his upper belt or casemate. But unfortunately, I think we might have been a little too close. I think we needed to stay basically right on the edge of our max range in order to get that plunging fire into the deck rather than essentially flat arcs to the upper belt as we get, I think, our highest XP in this thing. Very surprising, but then again, we did smash a Minotaur and a Michelangelo with our main guns, and I guess technically torpedoes on the Michelangelo. I think the only thing we AI gamed was the enemy Alaska, but again, we did like almost everything as well as gotten 2 objectives. Pretty sure 2 solo caps on top of that. Pretty sure solo caps give more XP than assisted. But yeah, there's the build. D-Revel, Properly Meticulous, Porcupine, Hipper, and Haruna for the secondary memory. And yeah, I mean, that's really all she wrote. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more and share it with your friends. Or leave a comment down below on other ships you want to see in the future. But anyway guys, till the next one, aloha.